Never did I ever think I would be boiling a kettle by charging it out of my electric car. Now, if I was to tell you that we are expecting a all-new, all-electric Korean crossover coming to you soon, what would your first thoughts be? Is it going to be something super efficient? Maybe something quite bland? Well, if that is what you're thinking, you're kind of half right. Because this is Kia's new EV6, and it's a 5-seater, all-electric hatchback. But it's got more space inside than an SUV. So, is it a super hatch? Maybe it's a squashed SUV. Is it a crossover? I don't know where this sits. Do let us know in the comments below, and while you're there, do subscribe to our channel. Okay, so just take a moment to have a good old gorp with me because, well, there's a lot to take in, isn't there? It's not what I was expecting at all. First of all, it's actually bigger than it appears in pictures. This is not a small car, and it's also the start of Kia's new range of electric cars, with the EV6 being the middle one. Now that suggests that we're going to be getting EV1 through to 9 before 2026. So this really needs to bode well. Second point worth noting, is it just me or is this car quite mean looking? I mean, look at these LED headlights. They're kind of scowling at you, I think, which I kind of love. And the wheel arches, they are super pumped up.
And that's before you even look at it in side profile. It's got a kicked up sort of coupe-ish window line. Now, are there shades of Jaguar I-Pace in there, or is it just me? And if you look down here, this sill line rises in line with the back window, and then it keeps going up to the back to make a nice full width light bar that really wraps around the rear. Bland? I think not. What it is though is very different. And that's got to be a good thing. And it's even more surprising when you find out that the EV6 is actually pretty much the same car as the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Now, you can find our review of that over on electrifying.com's channel.
Now, what that means is that it gets some seriously cool tech. Now, there's a nice big 77.4 kilowatt hour battery right under here, and it comes with 800-volt architecture. Now, that might sound a little bit complicated, but all you need to know is that it means the EV6 can charge like a champion. If you put it on a really big public 350 kilowatt charger, it can go from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes, or 62 miles of charge in just 5 minutes. Now, that is barely enough time for me to check my emails. What a shame. Now, on a more common charger, a 50 kilowatt charger, say, it's going to take 1 hour and 8 minutes to do exactly the same job, or 12.5 hours on a home wall box from flat to full. The most efficient version can manage 316 miles of range, and there are some actually really fast ones on the way, with Kia thinking that the EV6 might just be a little bit more sporty and satisfying to drive than the competition, which I have to say intrigues me.
But that's not even the best bit, because come and have a look in here.
Yeah, I do like a nice interior. I mean, you know, think about it. It is ultimately where you actually spend most of your time while you're driving. So it does make sense that you actually enjoy the interior of your car, not just the exterior. I mean, I'm not sure about you, but how long do you spend staring at your car from your living room window? For me, not that much. So this part is very important, and so far I would say it's rather impressive.
Having seen the Ioniq 5, some of it is familiar, but that doesn't make it any less good.
As soon as you get into the driver's seat, I think things are very different up here, because it's immediately apparent that this is far more driver focused. I think, you know, the Ioniq 5, it has that sliding center console, whereas the EV6 gets this really cool central spar, and everything is just kind of geared towards the driver. It's a real cockpit feeling in here. Now, this has a nice driver selector on it. You've also got your wireless charging for your phone. There's plenty of storage here. You've got your cup holders. You've also got buttons for your heated seats, heated steering wheel, favourite part of pretty much any car for me, and 2 buttons here to cool your seats, which is useful if you don't live in the UK, because I'm pretty sure it's never hot enough that you actually require seats to be cooled. There's also plenty of charging capabilities. I think there's, down here we've got a USB port, 2 USB-Cs, and also a 12-volt charger as well. So really you've kind of got everything you need at your fingertips. Plus up here, actually where you've got your climate control, it's really nicely finished. It just makes it feel a little bit more luxurious, I must say, and playing around with the temperature has been super easy. They're not physical buttons, but it has been really, really easy to use. Plus you've also just got loads of storage in the middle, and although you do have this centre console, it just feels nice and light and spacious because you've got a gap between this part and your front dash, if that makes sense. So it really does feel like a cockpit, whereas I think the Hyundai is more like a lounge, if that makes sense. Now there are options on the front seats where you can have a full recline option, which means it's brilliant if you fancy having a nap. But the other thing that I absolutely love are these. Not one, but 2 12.3 inch screens. They are clean, they are clear, they're really nice and easy to use, loads of information up there. Plus, you can also have a 44-inch augmented reality head-up display on some of the models, which projects right out in front. I mean, is that too much? Maybe, but you know what? It's super cool, and well, I've got to say the quality is just great. Also worth noting, the seats, vegan seats. Hi, they're not leather, but I like calling them vegan seats. And within the interior, they've actually used over 111 plastic bottles. They've been reused in the dashboard here, up front here on the armrests, and in other places in the interior.
The wheelbase on this car is 2.9 metres. That, of course, is the distance between the wheels and therefore the space available for putting humans in.
Wow. Look at all the space. Look at all the space. And the seat is adjusted for someone who's about 6 foot tall. And for those of you asking, I am tall, 5'8". That's tall for some people. So there's actually loads of room back here. And look what you can do as well. Here's a flat floor. That is very satisfying. So I would say you can get 3 average sized humans back here, no problemo.
The boot is biggish, and actually there's a little weeny frunk up front which varies in size if you get a 2 or a 4-wheel drive model, which doesn't look much use for anything other than the charging cables, but at least then you've got somewhere nice and tidy to put them away.
Okay, so I think the initial signs, as you can probably tell from my enthusiasm, is that it's rather good. However, these things come with a price tag, don't they? How much is it going to cost you? Millions of pounds? Well, not quite. But let me explain, because I think the most important thing to understand is which version you're going to be interested in.
Now, there are 4 trim lines that consist of the base EV6, then the GT line and the GT line S, and finally the full fat GT. And in the UK, they all get the nice big 77.4 kilowatt hour battery. That's a battery that's slightly bigger than the one in the Hyundai Ioniq 5 sister car, because that's actually just a 72.4 kilowatt hour. Worth noting. There's also another version with a smaller 58 kilowatt hour battery offered in other markets with about 250 miles of range, but that won't actually get here to the UK for a while. Let's focus on the UK stuff, because the base EV6 comes with 1 motor for the rear wheels, 225 brake horsepower, and the headline. 316 miles of range, and it costs just under £41,000. Now, as standard, all EV6s get the cool stuff. So, as we said, they'll all get the bigger battery and 800-volt charging system. They also all get the big screens, LED headlights, vegan leather upholstery, heated front seats and steering wheel, I like that, aircon, parking sensors, and lots of driver assistance systems, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and all the other usual electronics. Now, if you upgrade to the GT line, you get different 19-inch alloys, electric seats with folding relaxation options, and the vehicle-to-load plug, some different styling and some other bits too.
Well, this is definitely a first. Never did I ever think I would be boiling a kettle by charging it out of my electric car. This is, I think this is a moment in history, to be honest, and I bet it's going to be a mean cup of tea.
The GT line adds 20-inch wheels and more plush stuff, like a Meridian stereo, more sensors, and the augmented reality head-up display, a panoramic sunroof, and power tailgate. The full-fat GT gets bucket seats and electronically controlled suspension, 21-inch wheels, a limited slip differential for sporty driving, and interestingly, it's the only model with an energy maximising heat pump as standard. So it's a fairly comprehensive list, and they all tow up to 1,600 kilograms, if that is something that's relevant to your needs. I mean, to be honest, the standard car will probably be enough. It gets to 62 miles per hour in 7.5 seconds and does have the best potential range. But we like things that go fast here. So the all-wheel drive 320 brake horsepower might be the big draw for you, especially with Kia's 7-year, 100,000 mile warranty.
Now, I do have to admit, I am a bit of a sucker for first impressions. So far, this has really impressed. It's a big thumbs up from me for the Kia EV6. However, we haven't actually driven it yet, so we will reserve judgment on that part until a later date. But in the meantime, let us know what you think. Also, let us know how this compares to something like our Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Nissan Ariya, or a high-spec ID4. We would love to know your thoughts. Anyone here? Hang on a minute. They've all gone. And they've left me the keys. I've got an idea. Oi!